She came for a new beginning, but walked into chaos. One girl versus an entire class. Lies, power, revenge. This is not just a story, it's war. Stay with me. Let's go back to where it all started. Like, subscribe, rate this 1 to 10, and share with your friends. I'm Alara Bloom. Welcome to my channel. The series begins with a high school girl named G standing in front of her new school, excited by its grand and luxurious look. Following the receptionist's directions, she arrives at a worn-down building, very different from the elegant ones she saw. Still, she convinces herself that the inside is what matters. She enters a classroom and takes a seat, only to find that Section A has just one class made up entirely of boys. She isn't bothered and introduces herself. Kfir, the class leader, mocks her instead of welcoming her, making the others laugh. G doesn't stay quiet and mocks him back From then on, her classmates start harassing her by throwing paper balls and laughing. She tells them to stop, but they ignore her. The bullying continues until class ends and G walks out. Annoyed, she heads to the cafeteria and meets Rocky, who's sitting with some girls. Rocky asks about Section A, but G lies and says she was welcomed. The girls don't believe her, knowing Section A students are troublemakers. Then Iris comments that Section A suits G, hinting they know each other. G stays silent and leaves for class. Back in class, she looks for a clean place to eat. But when she takes out her food, the other students steal it from her. She becomes furious. Later, while G is in class, a female teacher enters but refuses to begin the lesson because the room is filthy. She warns that if it's still dirty next time, she won't teach them for the rest of the year, then leaves. Determined, G urges her classmates to clean up. But to her surprise, they all walk out and lock the door, leaving her alone. She shouts for help, but they laugh at her through the window. With no choice, G cleans the room by herself, frustrated and angry. At the end of her first day, she returns home, where we learn she lives with her uncle's wife. When asked about school, G hides the truth and says her day went well. The next day, G is surprised when Kfir gives her a paper listing the food he and his friends want, expecting her to buy it. G refuses, saying she's not their servant. Kfir warns her that if she wants to stay, she must follow his orders. Angry, G stands her ground and refuses. Kfir is about to fight her, but the teacher walks in and stops him. We then learn that Section A students, including Kfir, were banned from the cafeteria after starting a fight there, explaining why they don't buy food themselves. During lunch, a student named Yuri arrives, and all the boys rush toward him because he brings a lot of food. Felix informs him that G is a new student, and Yuri has already been told that she's a bad girl. Angry, Yuri walks away. James is surprised by Yuri's reaction. G then asks Felix about Yuri. He explains that Yuri had just returned from a vacation in Japan, and that he's close friends with Kfir. Meanwhile, Yuri talks to Kfir about G, saying he doesn't like having a girl in their section. Kfir explains he already tried to scare her off, but she didn't back down. Yuri suggests they keep bothering her until she leaves, and Kfir agrees. The next morning during breakfast, G meets her older cousin, Angelo, who asks how school is going. She tells him everything's fine, and asks if he knows anything about Section A. Angelo explains that Section A is tough for new students, but if she works hard and avoids trouble, she can get transferred out. We also learn she was expelled from her previous school for fighting, which makes her happy to hear there's a chance for change. On her way to school, G sees a boy from her class beating 4 boys by himself. Curious, she follows him and learns his name is Sai. She asks him why Section A students aren't allowed in the cafeteria. Sai says he'll explain if she buys him food. G agrees. Sai explains that a girl named Ella used to be in their class, and she and Kfir were in love. But she was transferred to another section due to her connections with the school administration. Later, Kefir saw her kissing another boy in the cafeteria, which made him furious. He attacked the boy and wrecked the whole cafeteria. After that, Section A students were banned from the cafeteria. At school, G found herself stuck to her chair. Someone had put glue on it. The prank was done by Kefir and Yuri. All the students laughed and left. But Sai and Felix helped her since she always buys them food. Angry, G went looking for Kefir and Yuri. She found them, threw Sai's jacket in Kefir's face, and told him she won't stay silent anymore. Then she walked away. Meanwhile, Sai was heading home when he ran into the students who had beaten him before. They were out for revenge. At the same time, G reached her house. That evening, G had dinner with Iris, who was actually her younger cousin. He didn't seem happy about her staying with them. Angelo noticed this and was upset that Iris hadn't been giving G rides to school. He ordered Iris to take her to school from now on and keep her safe. The next morning, Iris drove G to school. In class, Kefir gave her the usual food list, along with some money, expecting her to buy food again. But G firmly told him that she didn't owe him anything and would only get food for her friends. Still, G went to the cafeteria and bought everything Kefir had asked for. When she returned, everyone, including Kefir, was impressed by what she did. Later in the classroom, the teacher calls out students' names to assess their academic levels. When she calls G's full name, it reveals that her family name is the same as Iris's. Kefir immediately asks G about her connection to Iris, and she casually replies that he's her cousin. G then notices the atmosphere change. Everyone looks angry. It's clear there's some kind of history or conflict between the class and Iris, though she has no idea what it is. Meanwhile, Kefir and Yuri gather some classmates and search online for info about G. They find her old school and learn she was a serious troublemaker. She once stabbed a male classmate with a pencil and caused serious injuries to others. Just then, another classmate walks in claiming he knows about G's family. He says her father has been missing for a long time and nobody knows where he is. Her mother abandoned her as a child, restarted a new life. G lived with her grandmother until she transferred to this school and moved in with her uncle's family. Yuri and Kefir begin to suspect that Iris intentionally placed G in their class to spy on them and report back to him. When it's time to clean the classroom, the boys, as always, leave G to do everything. Kefir annoys her by tipping over trash bins. Frustrated, G throws paper on the floor and refuses to clean unless he helps. Seeing the situation escalate and worried that Kefir might hit her, Yuri steps in. He convinces Kefir to help clean to avoid problems. Kefir calms down and helps G clean up. The next day, G is riding with Iris to school when she sees Sai walking. She asks Iris to stop and says she wants to walk with her classmate. As they walk, she asks why he's been absent. Sai explains he got into another fight, this time more serious, and was badly injured, so he stayed home to recover. G tells Sai about what happened in class and how the boys reacted when they learned she is Iris's cousin. She asks if he will avoid her like the others did. Sai reassures her he won't, and that she doesn't need to worry. They walk to school together, and later, Sai took G to a building to watch the class president election. G is shocked to see there is no real election. Instead, the position is decided by a physical fight between Kefir, the current president, and David, a challenger. The winner becomes the new president. The fight is brutal and intense, but Kefir wins. The students cheer, lift him on their shoulders, and celebrate. G stays behind and helps David get home. The next day in class, G brings food for Sai and David. Meanwhile, Yuri and Kefir watch her, unhappy with what's happening. It's clear G is getting along well with the boys, and they are starting to treat her nicely. This worries Kefir and Yuri because they don't want her to feel comfortable in their section. One classmate then tells them that the next period is PE, and they need to get ready for the gym. At the same time, Iris sits with his friend. While they talk, Ella arrives and greets Iris, revealing their romantic relationship. Iris decides to go to the gym, saying he wants to check on his cousin G to make sure no boys are bothering her. But when he arrives, he deliberately gets too close to Ella, clearly trying to provoke Kfir. Kfir loses his temper, furious at what he sees. To punish Iris, he takes it out on G instead. Pretending to teach her how to catch a ball, Kfir throws it at her with too much force. The ball hits her face, knocking her down and causing her nose to bleed. Everyone in the gym is shocked. Kfir realizes his mistake and wants to apologize to G, but hesitates when he sees Iris has already rushed to her side. G stays home for 2 days to recover from her injury. While resting in bed, her aunt brings her breakfast. G tells her she wants to leave school because she can't handle the bullying and doesn't know how to respond without causing trouble. Her aunt encourages her to stand up for herself calmly and not stay silent. Later, G goes out to buy medicine and is suddenly surrounded by her classmates. They try to drag her somewhere, but she breaks free and runs, only to bump into Kfir, who had been nearby. He tells her the others were just trying to bring her to him. They sit at a cafe where Kfir gently bandages her wound and orders her ice cream. G asks if this is a bribe. Kfir admits he's bad at apologizing, but thought she might like ice cream. G walks away, but turns back, grabs the ice cream, and leaves. The next day at school, G goes to the bathroom. A group of girls follows, gossiping about the gym incident. Freya insults Ella, saying she left Kfir for Iris. When Mika defends Ella, Freya gets annoyed and then shifts to insulting G, questioning why boys like her since she's not even pretty. G, who had been listening, storms out and splashes water on Freya. She runs to Section A, but Freya and her friends chase her. When they catch up, students from Section A, including Iris and Ella, gather around. Freya demands G be punished for humiliating her. Iris steps in, saying G is his cousin, but adds he won't defend her if she's wrong. Freya confidently explained how the school social system works. Group A. The most popular students, like Freya, Ella, and their leader Iris. Group B. Students who follow and serve the popular group. Group C. Neutral students who stay friendly with everyone, like Rocky. Group D. Boys who help the popular group by enforcing their rules. Group E. The lowest group in the school, and G is in this group. Freya says she'll forgive G if she kneels and kisses her shoe. G refuses and reveals she overheard Freya insulting Ella in the bathroom. Freya panics, denies everything, and blames Mika instead. The other girls back her up, leaving Mika shocked. Iris, ignoring Mika's pleas, orders the boys from Category D to punish her. As they move in, Alex, a boy from Category E and Mika's ex, steps in and fights them off. Tension builds. Iris demands Mika be punished, but Kfir steps forward and disagrees. The argument escalates into a violent fight when Iris attacks Kfir, triggering a massive brawl among the students. Later, Yuri and Kfir sit down to discuss what happened. Yuri notes that all their attempts to push G out of the class have failed. Her classmates have started sympathizing with and accepting her. Kfir smirks and says he has a new plan that will kill 2 birds with 1 stone. He'll make G fall for him, get her emotionally attached, then cut her off completely, breaking her heart. This way, they'll get rid of G and make Iris furious for what happened to Kfir's cousin. Yuri loves the idea and agrees. Suddenly, Sai runs to them in a panic, saying G is fighting with Category D boys in the gym. Kfir rushes there and finds G on the ground as a boy is about to hit her. Without hesitation, he beats the boy up. Then, Kfir and G fight the remaining boys together and manage to defeat them. Exhausted, they collapse on the floor. G thanks Kfir for saving her. Sai and Yuri enter. Yuri lifts G to take her to the infirmary, Before that, he warns her that the school will investigate the fight and asks her not to mention Kefir's involvement. If he's in trouble again, he may be expelled. Ji agrees to protect him. The next day, heavy rain causes the school to close early. Ji calls Iris to pick her up, but he never shows up. As she waits in the rain, Yuri sees her and offers her a ride. With no choice, she accepts. Seeing she's cold, Yuri gives her his jacket. To Ji's surprise, Yuri drives her to his house, saying the roads to hers are flooded. He offers to let her stay until the rain stops. Ji is amazed by how luxurious his home is. He gives her dry clothes and leaves her to change. Later, they chat. Ji asks about his family, and Yuri says his parents live in Japan and he lives with his grandfather. He then takes her to meet his grandfather, who is surprised. Yuri has never brought a girl home before. Ji impresses him with her polite and kind nature. The next day at school, Ji thanks Yuri playfully. Kefir sees them joking and is shocked. He pulls Yuri aside to ask what happened. Yuri explains everything and assures Kefir that their plan is still on track. Soon after, Ji and Kefir are called to the principal's office. The Category D boys accuse them of attacking for no reason. Ji tries to explain, but the principal doesn't believe her due to Kefir's bad record. Shocked, Ji remembers Yuri's warning. Another offense might get Kefir expelled. To protect him, Ji claims full responsibility. But the principal sees through it and warns that Ji herself could be expelled for lying. Still, Ji insists Kefir is innocent. The principal says she'll contact Ji's guardian. After they leave the office, Kefir thanks Ji for what she did. A while later, Angelo arrives and pulls Ji aside to speak with her privately. He scolds her for getting involved in trouble and reminds her of her promise not to cause problems. Ji apologizes and promises to behave. The next day at school, Ji hears a noise behind a garbage bin. She finds Mika hiding there, terrified because Iris ordered boys from Category D to chase and punish her, believing she spoke badly about Ella. Mika says she's been hiding and running. Ji feels sorry for her and asks if anyone tried to help. Mika says only Ella could have, but she's absent. Ji helps Mika clean up in the bathroom, then decides to take her to Section A for protection. When they arrive, Kefir is annoyed and wants Mika out. Ji stands up for Mika, reminding Kefir that he once helped her too. Kefir seizes the moment and romantically tells Ji he'd do anything for her. Yuri watches, clearly jealous. Ji is flustered and unsure how to react. At the end of the day, Ji walks Mika home to protect her. On the way, Ji asks about Mika's history with Alex. Mika explains they used to love each other, but Ella once told her Alex was seen with another girl. At first, Mika didn't believe it, but later saw it herself and ended things with Alex. Since then, Alex has tried to apologize, but Mika refused to give him another chance. Mika asks Ji if Alex deserves one. Ji sees regret on Alex's face and tells Mika to think carefully. Later that night, Ji confronts Iris for how he treated Mika, insisting she never said anything bad about Ella. Ella walks in and is upset after hearing what Iris did. Iris follows her to make amends. The next day, Ella thanks Ji for defending Mika and says she made Iris promise to leave Mika alone. But Ella also asks Ji to keep Alex away from Mika. Ji refuses, saying it's up to Mika and Alex to decide their relationship. Later, a student from Section A surprises Mika with flowers and confesses his feelings. Ji advises Mika to think carefully. Ella interrupts, telling Ji to stay out of it. At that moment, Alex steps forward and, in front of everyone, tells Mika he regrets everything and asks to speak with her privately. Meanwhile, Kefir and Yuri watch Ji closely, noticing how moved she is by the scene. Mika tells Alex she's willing to give him another chance. The class celebrates. Later, Ji and Kefir watch Mika and Alex from afar. They see Alex jumping with joy. Kfir uses the moment to tell G he wishes he could have a romantic moment like that with her. G gets flustered and walks away. And that was just the beginning. What's next? You won't believe it. Stay tuned for part 2 of the story. When we upload it, you'll find the video description. I'm Alara Bloom. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments, rate it 1 to 10, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to see it. Thanks.